And I have to say, what I have seen the McDougall program do is really exceptional in terms of an online program to change behavior. And I call it affecting the effective. So effective is kind of how you relate to things.
Thank you for taking the time to do this with me.
Sure.
I'd love to, just touch base and hear about how the program has impacted your life. And so I just really have one question, and that is, how has changing to a starch-based lifestyle changed your life?
Well, I think simplicity may be kind of an underlying theme to all of it. And that is that with the starch-based, I would call it starch-centered approach, where starch becomes the center of what you eat. It really simplifies the whole diet equation, the whole eating equation, and all that down to the starch is the center, and then you add things on top of it. And for me, it's I am at a weight that I haven't been at in 30 years, so I won't go too far beyond that. So giving away age too far there. And I'm still managing to decrease weight a little bit. So I'm about 3.5 months into the program, knowing that it's going to take a while. I think I have better mental acuity than I probably have had for at least a couple decades. We will test the physical ability. I'm going to do I live in Colorado, and we have 58 peaks that are over 14,000 feet. A number of years ago, I climbed my first peak, and I want to go back and do that again. We were going to do that as a round anniversary, in 2020, but COVID, forest fires, and everything else got in the way. So we're going to do that this summer, and we'll have a look, because once you get above 13,000 feet, it's a real test of your cardiovascular fitness. And we'll see if I'm the same way I was in my 20s. We can hope that we're as good for that. So I think a lot of good benefits on the physical side as well. So I mentioned mental acuity, physical, and it has also benefits in terms of the family. My wife somewhat follows the program, and she's also getting healthier. So lots of good benefits.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that. So can you tell me what you've done to stick with the program? You said keeping it simple, but could you share with us some of your favorite meals?
Well, what I do, so I have kind of two challenges that come up. One, the home challenge is not a big challenge. So what I do there, I use kind of the basic idea of potatoes and rice and other grains, kind of working from that starch-centric thing. So one of my meals every day is potato-centric, which may be, this morning as an example, it was a breakfast burrito, which has a lot of cubed up potatoes in it, which I do put in an air fryer. I know some people don't like that, but it does improve the flavor of the potatoes with the way the sugar is cooked on the outside. So you get this kind of caramelization of sugar. So one potato based. At lunch, I will have a grain based, which will be a mix of oatmeal, barley, quinoa, and what else do I have in there? One other grain. I'll think of that in a moment, because I vary it. So that fills me up for the afternoon. And then in the evening today, we will have a rice-based dish. And so that's kind of the way. And some days I will have rice for breakfast. I mix it up so that it's not always the same thing every day, but I stay within that starch-centric approach. So that's at home. It works pretty well. We have everything we need. We can cook stuff very well. I, by the way, cook all my own things like beans and that, so to avoid the sodium issues that you get with canned food. Travel is a real challenge because I have not found any restaurant anywhere in the world that cooks healthy meals in the way that McDougall talks about healthy meals. So as an example of what we did recently, we did a 80 some mile walk across the northern part of the UK. I took along dried beans, and then I bought tortillas, not necessarily the greatest thing, but better than anything. And I made dried beans and rice every morning, put them into a burrito, put those in my backpack, and that's what I had for lunch. And for breakfast, I would just do kind of a light, try to do porridge. And I found that porridge works pretty well. That's oat-based, typically in the UK. So travel's a problem. I recently did a conference in Chicago. I took along some of the McDougall travel, I call them travel packs. So the McDougall meals, like the black bean soup and things like that. And I mix that with rice, and I make myself a dinner. And dinner ends up costing me $3 instead of $35. So great benefit there. So travel's a challenge. I'm going to be going to India, and we'll see how that works out in the end of August.
Well, that's great. It sounds like you're really making it work. I know, we don't live in an environment that supports this lifestyle, but it sounds like you really found some ways to make it work for you.
Right, right.
Is there anything else you want to share?
One of the things I think that what I do for a living is I work with institutions of learning on structuring their learning and assessment and things like that. And I have to say, what I have seen the McDougall program do is really exceptional in terms of an online program to change behavior. And I call it affecting the effective. So effective is kind of how you relate to things. And the 10-day program was great. I always wanted to do that, but I could never carve out 10 days to get to Santa Rosa in a particular time that you offered the program, and it would all work financially and everything like that. The 12-day program worked miraculously. I was able to do that. I had a lot of very busy days where I couldn't attend some of the sessions live. I watched the recordings. So I think you've done an outstanding job of putting those elements together. I will provide you with a little more detail on that in a blog post I'm going to do in a few days. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time, Doug. It's been
yeah,
great.
yeah. Okay.
All right, we'll continue to keep in touch. We've got the Thursday meetups. I don't know if you
Right.
attend those. I think I see you there.
I'm not always saying a lot, but yes, I'm listening. Yeah.
Good. Well, lots of opportunities to stay in touch with us. So thank you for sharing.
Okay. Thank you. Take care.